What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and I saw this story floating around yesterday on Twitter, and then we've seen a couple articles about it today, and I thought I kind of had to talk about it. It's a lot of my worlds colliding right here. Zachary Levi would love to join Star Wars universe as Dash Rendar. And when I say a lot of my worlds, we've obviously got Star Wars Expanded Universe, which is where Dash Rendar is from. Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam in the DCEU. And, I will say Shazam's not necessarily like my cup of tea. It's very much like a Marvel-esque movie, but there's definitely room for that in the DCEU. And I enjoyed Shazam for what it was, but it's just not a movie that is really going to make me watch it over and over again. But I enjoy Zachary Levi, and I think he did a great job in the role. Again, maybe just not quite for me. But I would love to see Zachary Levi play Dash Rendar, but not in Disney Star Wars. That's the thing. And that's what they're trying. That's what they're going to try to do, guys. I talked about it. How I think that they're going to go back to the Old Republic, to KOTOR, start trying to use Revan and other people like that from the expanded universe. Even though they're not going to keep their stories, they're going to bastardize their stories, make them trash, and they're going to use these expanded universe characters that are loved because they're not going to have anything else after the sequel trilogy is over. But let's get into this before I get too worked up. Zachary Levi would love to join Star Wars universe as Dash Rendar. Shazam star Zachary Levi knows exactly which Star Wars character he'd like to play if given the chance. Rebel ally Dash Rendar. The Star Wars franchise is in the midst of a very busy month, very true, having released Star Wars Rise of Skywalker just before Christmas. That film will not only ended the 9-movie-long Skywalker saga in quotation marks, because we know it's the Palpatine saga. It's also the last Star Wars movie fans will see until December 2022, as the franchise goes on a brief hiatus. That doesn't help. It doesn't help that Rise of Skywalker has mixed reviews, so it's done well at the box office. Okay, here we go. Dash Rendar, the Star Wars character Levi would like to play, has yet to appear in any of the franchise's movies. However, Dash was the star of Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, a series of related products released back in 1996. And Shadows of the Empire was an awesome multimedia event. They released a video game, famously. They released a novel. They released comic books that tied in with it. They released an audio track, everything. It was a huge event for Star Wars, for the Star Wars Expanded Universe. And Dash Rendar ended up being really beloved. And the purpose of Shadows of the Empire was kind of to try to tell the story between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, or at least some of it. Because you pick off as Dash Rendar, delivering some blasters to Hoth, in the midst of the Battle of Hoth, and he hops in a snowspeeder and helps out in the battle. Hops in the Outrider. The Outrider is his, much like the Millennium Falcon is Han Solo's iconic ship. The Outrider is Dash Rendar's iconic ship, and it's a YT-2400. And Dash Rendar was very much like a stand-in for Han Solo, because obviously, after the events of Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo is frozen in carbonite, and that's one of the themes for Dash Rendar. He's trying to track down Han Solo. And he does know Han, and he knows Lando, he knows Luke, he knows Leia, he's interacted with them before. He's not really part of the Rebel Alliance, but he does help out from time to time. And you get some great stories with him, like I said, connecting those dots, helping Luke out of some tough situations, playing a part in stealing the second Death Star plans where all those Bothans died. Things like that. Dash is a huge, really well-loved character from the EU. And of course, they brought him back in canon already. And I'll get to that. I think this article will probably get to that. Here we go. Dash Rendar featured prominently in the Star Wars Shadows of the Empire novel, where he interacted with many fan-favorite characters. Dash got an upgrade last year where he's officially made part of Star Wars canon. That's not a freaking upgrade. I'll tell you that right now. Ask Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi if that was an upgrade over what he got in the expanded universe. The answer is no. And all this canon appearance even is a little brief mention in this replica journal, for soloist Star Wars stories, Tales from Vandar, or something like that. Just a little brief aside, nothing big. So he's barely in canon, but technically, again, bringing this little nugget back in there from the EU to get people worked up, he's in canon. Potentially opening the character up to appear on screen. And Levi shared his love for Dash on Twitter, responding to a fan who asked which Star Wars character. In Dash, Levi chose a character he could feasibly take on. And, you know, I agree. I could see Zachary Levi dye his hair a little bit. I think he would. I think he could play a good Dash. And, you know, I think it's really cool that someone like Zachary Levi is putting that out there, getting the love for that expanded universe character. But again, we don't want Disney. Look at what they did with Thrawn. Look what they did to my boy Thrawn. They made him a bumbling idiot in Rebels. As Lethal Lightning said the other day, this guy's the Sun Tzu of Star Wars. And you make a couple seasons about him not being able to deal with a couple idiots in the Ghost. Say what you will. If you like Rebels, that's fine. Thrawn is a cucked version of the real Grand Admiral Thrawn. And there's nothing you can do about that anymore because of what you did in Rebels, in canon, with Grand Admiral Thrawn. Though Levi hasn't starred in a Star Wars movie, he does have a history of working on similar projects. He joined the massive DCEU last year in Shazam, a film whose sequel just got a 2022 release date. And, you know, I am looking forward to what they do with Shazam 2. You know, especially with The Rock's Black Adam coming out, that sets up to be a really good fight in the future between those two characters. Like I said, Shazam's not necessarily for me. I think the movie's fine. I like Zach Levi, so we'll see what happens. But the main point of that story is basically more expanded universe characters that are getting brought up by big people who want to play them, but I just don't trust Disney. I don't want a Dash Rendar that's not the Shadows of the Empire one. I don't want someone who's just a name. In the same way that I just don't want a blue guy whose name is Thrawn to be part of the canon, because that's not true to the character. You're just using a name to try to get attention. And that's what would happen if we had a Dash Rendar, at least in today's day and age. Now, the further we go along with Disney Star Wars, with The Mandalorian, with Obi-Wan Kenobi, if they make a change up top, then I guess I could see giving it a chance. But right now, if the status quo remains the same, there's no way I want Disney anywhere near Dash. But, you know, that's just my opinion. Obviously, I'm pretty biased. Obviously, I don't want them bastardizing any more of my expanded universe characters, because that's all they got. They have ruined all of the legacy characters from the films. They have retconned and ruined so much of the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and even episodes 7 and 8, which, if you like those to begin with, I don't know what you can say about Rise of Skywalker being the ending now. So I think that's the only choice. Dig back into the EU that has so much love and so much dedication and try to bastardize it again. But we will see. We will see. I would love to see an accurate representation of Dash and his story on screen. I just don't think we'll get that from Disney. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about Zachary Levi putting that out there, showing that he's a big Expanded Universe fan, or at least that he's played Shadows of the Empire at one point in time, probably on the N64. But let me know what you think about Dash Rendar, the thought of him coming to Star Wars. This is obviously just a tweet. We're just speculating everything. There's no plans in the works or anything, but I could see it happening. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.